Oh, what's going on, GameLeapers? This is the Jizz, and in today's upload, we have some special leaks for you, and we're talking about Summoner's Rift leaks because 12.7, some of the changes to some of the champions Riot are thinking of changing have been released on Twitter, and even though the rest of these will be released later today or maybe tomorrow, depending on where you are in the world, this is going to give you an early insight into what the Rito Balance team is thinking, so make sure you pay attention for the whole video, and when those changes get released tomorrow or later today, we will make a tier list based off those changes, so if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, and also make sure you guys check out the GameLeap website in the description and comment section for the best League of Legends content on the internet. We don't take our YouTube videos and just upload them after you have paid. No, we have exclusive, like 20 videos a week made by challenger players and coaches designed to help you improve and become the best you can be at this game. So get signed up, check out those links, and let's get into the leaks. Now, first of all, we're going to start by talking about one of the most popular champions on the Rift at the moment, and this is Zeri. And after getting nerfed so much in the last few patches, Zeri, to be honest, even in high reloads, is still winning too many games and is still banned way too much across the board. So what Riot are trying to do with the changes you can see on your screen now, they are trying to move Zeri into more of a scaling direction, and they're also trying to encourage you once again to build attack speed and crit, because at the moment players are still building Trinity Force, they are still building Titanic Hydra, and who on earth wants to play against an AD carry with 4000 HP? Not many, right? So the changes are as follows. So the Q-based damage is reducing from 10 to 30 to 6 to 10. So this is a big nerf in terms of damage and will really be felt in the early game. But what they're doing to compensate this is they're increasing the AD ratio in your Q from 110% to 120%. So if you build more attack damage, you are going to benefit from this buff. So Trinity Force and Titanic Hydra, they still actually give you a decent amount of AD, especially Titanic Hydra, because of how the passive works, but this will encourage hopefully Zeri players to build Infinity Edge, Bloodthirster, those hard-hitting attack damage items. Now next up we have Zeri's W. So the base damage, just like her Q, is getting reduced quite significantly, but the AD ratio and even the AP ratio, these are both getting increased by 20% for the AD and 10% for the AP. So same idea here, Riot are trying to encourage you to build more attack damage so your abilities benefit from them. Now if we continue, the E cooldown is now reduced by another second if your Q crits. That is important, so if you actually build critical strike chance, your E, so your dash, your mobility, you are going to get more of these during fights, and once you start building attack speed and critical strike and scaling into a game, you will get these way more often in the mid to late game team fights, so this seems to point Zeri in the right, well, attack speed crit direction anyway. But what Riot are also doing, they are now changing your ultimate, so your ult gets another stack if your Q crits, and the last little change Riot have added is to your Q that the Q slow is increasing. So overall, these seem like healthy changes for Zeri. You guys will hopefully be able to pick her more, she'll be more balanced and an actual typical AD carry, instead of being like a bruiser, which is what she is at the moment. It's pretty obnoxious to play against. So Zeri mains, players in the bot lane, let me know in the comment section what you think of these changes. Now moving on, we have some buffs to Gwen that we have to talk about, because after Riot nerfed her range on the E, she has been absolute toilet tier. So what's happening is your E's cooldown reduction when you auto attack after Eing, this is increasing from 50% to 60%. So this is a really nice buff on paper, but the issue is that the E's range is still nerfed from before. This is not getting any buffs, so you're still going to struggle to actually get in range of the enemy champion, so this one looks more placebo just because of what's happened before to Gwen. But Riot are thinking of something else here, and they've actually buffed your ultimate, so the cooldown is getting reduced from 120 seconds to 80 seconds to 100 seconds to 80 seconds. So in the early game at rank 1 and at rank 2, so level 6 and level 11, you will have your ultimate more often. This is definitely going to be useful because your ultimate is a big part of your kit, it's a big power spike, but the big issue still remains that you don't have the old range you had on your E, so Gwen, based off these, in my opinion anyway, is still going to struggle. This might increase her win rate by a little bit, but it's not really going to increase her viability all that much, especially in pro play. Now also in the top lane, we have some buffs coming into Wukong, who has really been out of favor ever since Lethal Tempo started getting abused, and also since 12.3 where Gore Drinker, Black Cleaver, Death's Dance, More About Mortius. Wukong certainly benefits from some of these items, but lots of other champions like Riven, Fiora, they benefit so much more. And of course we have Hullbreaker, which Wukong doesn't really synergize that well with, but lots of other champions have. So the top lane at the moment for the Monkey King is a little frustrating to play in. So the buffs are as follows. Your Q's cooldown is getting reduced from 9 to 7 seconds to 8 to 6 seconds. So 1 second drop across the board. Very nice. Now your W's cooldown is also getting reduced from 20 to 16 seconds to 20 to 12 seconds. So in the late game, as you get more points in your W, you can use that clone and the free dash it gives you more often. Going to be useful in the late game too, because at that point you will have lots of cooldown reduction. And the last buff they're giving you is to your E's AP ratio, which is increasing from 80% to 100%. 100%. So if you want to go AP Wukong, I mean, maybe there is a niche for this out there, then you guys will certainly be happy about this. But on the whole, these look like nice changes for Wukong. Will it be enough to make him broken? Honestly, probably not, but let me know in the comments your guys' thoughts. Now, the last champion whose changes have actually been revealed, and these are all buffs by the way, this is Nico, who is getting further buffs. So Riot have decided that, well, after buffing her a few patches ago, they were not enough because they didn't give some of those riders enough LP. So they're going in even harder in 12.7, so your W's base damage is increasing by 40 in the late game, and the reason it's late game is because you're maxing your W last, so you'll probably get this around the 25-30 minute mark. And then the passive movement speed in your W is also increasing by 10% when you have more points in your W. So when you have 5 points in it at level 18, it's going from 30% to 40%. Now the movement speed is certainly nice, the base damage increase is certainly nice as well, and this is probably going to have a much bigger effect in lower elos because games last a lot longer. So if you guys are playing Nico maybe in silver and gold, no offense, but it is certainly going to be better for you guys in those echelons of play. In high relo, I don't really think this is going to do all that much because games will be decided well before you get more movement speed in your W and you actually put 5 points into it. But still, buffs are buffs and they're probably going to feel nice, which is one of the most important things, how we feel on that champion and what actually feels good. And there is one more change, guys, that has been revealed. It's to one of the mythic items, and this got revealed just as I was about to make this video, so this is kind of exciting. So these are the Gale Force nerfs on the PvE right now. So the cooldown has increased from 90 seconds to 110 seconds, a 20-second increase. So if you're playing an AD carry like Jinx, like Caitlyn, someone who really values the dash, because if you do get called out, you're going to die. Well, this being on a much longer cooldown is certainly going to reduce the amount of kills you get, because we're not just using Gale Force defensively, we're using it in an attacking sense as well, because we'll be gap closing to the enemy champions. So if you think of a Jhin, for example, Cloud Bursting, which is the Gale Force active, and then using his 4th shot, he can one-shot those squishy and low health champions, but just because it is on a longer cooldown, these opportunities won't exist as much. So this nerf and change seems the biggest out of all of the ones we've looked at so far. So let me know in the comments, guys, your thoughts on these changes. Remember that tomorrow, Riot will be releasing all of the changes to all of the champions, the items, the things in the game, and we will be making a fresh tier list on those changes. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and stay tuned and be aware for tomorrow's video. And if you did enjoy the video, please remember to leave a like down below. And until tomorrow's daily upload, this has been Coach. Peace.